Oh, that one came up first.
Boom.
All right. Well, hello everybody.
Hi guys.
Welcome. It's Monday Night Live
Woohoo!
with Dean Nixon, Kate Semmens with TurningLeaf Wellness Center, and of course, I'm back.
Yay!
And I'm not going to jump out.
This just feels better.
This feels a little bit different.
I know you do like the solo thing occasionally, and you probably just take it like a boss. But man, I missed you.
You did great.
Thanks,
though. You
Dean.
did fantastic,
Thank you.
and so I appreciate Kate holding the fort down last Monday. It was great, and she did a phenomenal job. So it was not an April Fool's joke.
Yeah, not an April Fool's, but I do want to shout out to everybody that was like, "Good job, Kate!" Like, you don't know this, but I'm really working on not needing external validation. So all of that I just loved.
So that helps.
Yeah.
That helps my addiction. Well, we're excited as people are starting to hop on. We want to say hello and thank you for tuning in, as always, to our Monday Night Live topics. So tonight,
The best night of the week.
Best night of the week. Best night of the week. Gotta love Monday night. And so I'm excited to get started with you guys as well as Kate is. We want to jump into tonight's topic.
Right. Which in discussing it, I think this one is a really universal. I'm going to say that most humans probably have struggled with this at one
Yes.
point or another in their life, right? And so the topic that we want to talk to you guys about today is how to navigate through opinions.
Right.
So, maybe we can just define what an opinion is versus what a truth or a fact is. Should we
Right.
start there?
Yeah, and the main reason that we were talking about is, God, we tend to take things personally.
Oh, so personal.
So personal. We take things so personally, especially things that aren't personal. They're just not personal. But we tend to take things personally, and so that's why we need to understand. You know,
Right.
how do I not take things personally? How do I understand the difference between what is an opinion that somebody's sharing with me and what is a fact?
I think also to add like a weird layer to that, I think sometimes we deliver opinions personally,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
like
we
trying
do.
to make it personal when it's not.
Yeah,
'Cause
making
it's
it
not
hurtful, maybe.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And the other thing we can do is we can deliver opinions like they are facts.
Oh, absolutely.
And we can just, well, it's a fact. It's a fact. And it's not necessarily true. And so one of the things that really stuck out to me and sticks out to me about this topic is, opinions. So you've got two different things. You've got opinions, which are preferences. So in life, we create preferences based upon our life experiences, based upon things that have occurred. We will even hear things that fit within our belief system, and we deem them facts, but in reality, they're still just a preference.
Opinions, sure,
And
preference.
opinions. And so what we deal with is, well, what's the difference between an opinion or preference and a fact? And the difference simply is that a fact is a consistent. A fact is a constant, something that's constantly there. Water is wet.
Right.
Water is wet. Food is energy. And we recognize that breath and breathing is necessary. So those are all facts, but we can get into opinions where opinions are like, well, my football team's better than your football team.
Oh, this is going to be so fun. Let's talk about opinions.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys remember lives back in the day when we would do drawings out of the Yankees hat. And then I wore my Boston shirt. Remember? That was fun. So that's a pretty good opinion,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's a pretty well-known American
Right.
opinion.
And we
The Yankees versus the Red Sox.
That's a huge one. And I can't believe you even went there. I was going to go somewhere a little less
sensitive?
a little less tenuous. Yes. Yes,
I
you're
like to be
picking-
transparent.
poking my Yankees. But yes, it is. That's exactly a great point. Is we can go into opinions and even arguing that in sports. That's why I love it. Is in sports and why dudes hang on to it as our banter is. We can go into facts, but we can go into opinions. We can say, well, the Yankees are a better team than the Red Sox are a better team. Well, that's an opinion. But you can also, there are facts where Boston or the Yankees have won more games than Boston has as of right now. And those are
Somebody
facts.
check that.
You
Google
check me on it. I'm paying attention. Trust me. Last I checked. Anyway.
Okay.
You're going to get me off on a tangent.
Oh, no. We got to go Cubs down there.
Oh, good grief. Oh. All right.
So you guys get it. You understand.
They get it. They get it. And so, but those are facts. So we can use the facts. But even to that point, we're still getting into the minutia of what an opinion is.
A preference.
So what we've got, it is. It's a preference. So what we've got to do is we've got to step back and we've got to go, okay, well, this is somebody's preference. This is somebody's opinion. There are facts, and people will find and try and use facts to back up their preferences or back up their opinions. But the reality is it's still an opinion.
Right. Oh, and Jamie says, "Go Tigers!" Oh, it's getting crazy in here.
Jeez, oh Pete, so it is the opening season.
It is that
second
time of
week.
Year.
So,
so I heard this the other day, and I absolutely loved it. Speaking of facts and opinions, right? I was reading it, and the book said that the sky is always blue. Just sometimes the clouds come in and cover it, right? So like the above the cumulonimbus or whatever's happening in the atmosphere, like, so that is a fact. Even though like the clouds roll in, I guess unless you're some sort of colorblind, right? Like the sky's going to be blue.
To us. Yes, and that is true. And that's where we get into all of the different pieces where we can argue points. And so the piece that I think is important for us is to really start to separate people's opinions. Now, there's reasons why, and we talk a lot about it in the seminar process. We talk a lot about it in our coaching work, is we're always talking about the greatest human need is to feel valued. We tend to get our value from other people. And if I get my value from a person that's opinion is different than mine, then I tend to really have a hard time.
Right.
So if I take people, what we tend to see is when I get clients in and they're like, I'm taking so many things personal and I have a hard time because these people, a lot of it's because we're putting these people up on pedestals. And we're
getting our value from them.
And it's like, well, I want them to value me. I want them to like me. Their opinion's different than mine. And that tends to really affect our ability to hold our own and go, it's okay. This is just an opinion. And we see that a lot in relationships.
In fact, I would gather to say that it's a really crucial piece as to how relationships start to break down.
Yes.
Is when we start to take these sorts of comments really personally, or to personalize them, like we already talked about, right?
Yes.
Like if someone feels like they're the alpha in the relationship, like my way or the highway, you know, like this is the sky is blue, right? Even though we're talking about the Cubs, then that's when things can start to deteriorate.
Yes. And we get our feelings hurt and we start to really question things. And that's the important part for us here to really remember too, is that your opinion matters. Your opinion counts. Your preferences are important. It's not that they're not and we discount them, but it's a matter of honoring our opinion and honoring and valuing how we feel, but not trying to force other people to feel and think the way we do, because that's another thing that I see it like in parents. Here's another example
this is a good one.
Is religion. You know, I'll see it where a family will raise a child in a certain religious background, you know, whatever it may be across the world. But if a child deviates from that, then parents feel like they're being rejected because they don't share the same values, you know, the same opinion towards that religious preference. So then it becomes this big wedge between the two. And instead of looking for commonalities, instead of working on values, instead of bringing each other together, we wind up driving each other apart because we feel rejected because they don't share the same opinion as we do. Right.
That's a really good example. And I mean, other examples are like, you know, if you've got a parent that just really wants their kid to be a lawyer, right? And just really set on that life path for them, or a doctor or a teacher, or like whatever is historically part of their family history and legacy.
Cubs fan, apparently.
Yeah. And then they want to do something different. And they feel that their authenticity, their preference is in a different direction, then that can rock our boat.
It can. It can change things, especially when we become so rooted. And that's the other part that's important for us to understand as human beings is we can't become so rooted in our opinions and our preferences that we don't progress. And that's one of the things I see a lot in human beings is we get so hunkered down in our preferences, so hunkered down in our opinions that there's no room for growth and there's no room for perspective. And this is the way the world is. This is the way it's always been. This is the way family's supposed to be. This is the way, and we don't evolve.
Right.
We don't allow the dynamics to evolve. And as a result of that, it destroys relationships. And again, it destroys the very fabric of who we are. Instead of stepping back and going, okay, well, I'm open to your opinion. I don't have to embrace it. I don't have to take it on. I can be good with it. I can embrace me and be okay with me. But I don't have to dive into it. But also, as I'm listening to that opinion, I may go, wow, yeah, maybe I can change my opinion a little bit or my preference a little bit. And I can evolve and I can grow. And that's something that is important in relationships, is helping people move forward.
I also think that it's a really cool opportunity to be able to learn about people and love them for their opinions and their preferences, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what makes our world so diverse and beautiful.
Yes. And it's one of those things I always get a kick out of it. And I can tell when I'm being that person too. I can tell
when you're standing in
what I'm like.
Oh yeah.
Oh, because we do. We all of a sudden we start making our little passive aggressive comments. We slide them in there like it's not a big deal. And for me, it's in one areas that I find myself doing it the most is in music with my children. Like we'll get the children in the car and I'll just be like making some snide comment about the music that they're listening to, because it's not my preference. It's not my not my opinion. And if my children aren't careful, they can take that very personally, feel like, well, Dad's insulting me, Dad's this, Dad's that. But when they start pushing back, that's when I know, oh, wow, okay, I am totally like pushing my preference or my opinion on other people. And we can do that, and we need to be sensitive to that. And it's okay for me to go, okay, I don't like certain types of rap music. I do like old school rap music. I don't like the new rap music. But I don't have to be passive-aggressive about it either. I don't have to make my snide comments, which, if my kids are watching this, yes, I just admitted it. You were correct.
You guys, awareness is the first step. There is hope.
I admit it. But they'll call me out on it every time because they know it's a preference. But also, those that are watching, please be aware. If somebody's saying something to you and it hurts and it stings, step back from that and go, well, what part of that is hurting me? What part of that is bothering? What part of me is uncomfortable with that? Because it may simply be that you're taking somebody's opinion personally. And if it's a fact, okay, then deal with the fact and shift accordingly. If it's an opinion, step back and go, what part of this is bothering me? What can I do about it? And if I need to do something about it, do it. If not, then I need to use my coping skills of refocusing on what matters and what is important. Also, to really value my opinion, I need to be looking at the other coping skill of evidence.
Right.
What evidence do I have that shows me and helps me understand that my opinion matters?
I think too, so acceptance, right?
Yes.
I don't exactly know how exactly I want to phrase this question, but what is it in us that gets that sting? You know what I mean? Like sometimes when you're talking about it with people, it seems pretty silly. Like you're like, oh yeah, and I got totally offended that Dean likes the Yankees and I'm a Red Sox fan, right? Like it's like, whatever, that's fine. But in the moment, it really does sting. And I think we talk about social media and stuff all the time, but that's a really huge platform where people can just shove their opinion out there about your opinion and do it not confrontationally because it's not face to face. And so
passive aggressive.
And it hurts.
Yeah.
It's a struggle.
It is. And we can really, I've had a lot of clients come in and talk about that where they've been devastated by a negative response. We do feel a little bit more emboldened and bold to be able to just comment from our glass window on somebody's picture or comments and things of that nature. But again, we've got to be careful with that. It's you're sharing your opinion. And if you're talking as though it's facts, then you need to check your facts, because even if the Yankees are winning more games than Boston, it doesn't mean that the Yankees are better than Boston. It means that they may be winning more. Now, don't you dare take that. That was a bad example.
You saw my look.
I should not have.
I almost winked.
But the point is I can't roll on that and go, well, see, here's the facts. Here's the facts. Well, that doesn't mean anything until the Yankees and Sox go head to head.
Right.
Then we'll see who's really the best. But that's even day to day,
right? That's
based
what I was
upon the
say,
lineup,
head to head, every day for like a week, and then we can see it.
So there's always all these different factors, and so when you're so quick to share that your opinion is right, then you need to step back and make sure that there's not a lot of other pieces that are at play here. And that's the other thing too on our end is when somebody's coming at us and it's like, hey, this is a fact, we can step back and go, well, that may be true, but it may also not be true. And that's the part that we need to recognize through this process. And that's why I wanted to talk about this, because I've seen a lot of people that have really struggled with this recently. I've seen people that get their feelings hurt over things that they really don't need to own. It's not their problem. It's not their issue. It's the other person's issue. But because they value that other person's opinion more than they value their own, or because that person is so bold in presenting it as facts, that it can devastate other people. And so it is important for us to go, you know what, it's okay for them to have an opinion. It's different than mine. I don't have to agree with them. And it gives us a lot of freedom to grow and to love and accept others and to have tolerance in our lives.
Yeah. And I think that this is a really cool skill that takes a lot of practice. Like, this isn't like a one and done thing. Like, you're not going to wake up tomorrow and be like, and I'm not going to get offended when my opinions are attacked or when people bring their stuff to me. Like, which is, it's cool. It's that evolution process. So it's definitely awesome to get awareness and start working on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think another thing that's interesting, if you're and taking kind of the other perspective of someone, not that I don't do it, I'm not saying my own perspective, but someone that does push their opinion, right? And gets pretty aggressive about it. It's interesting how exclusive that becomes, right? And we talk about the greatest human need is to feel valued, and all we're trying to do is feel valued,
right? But
we end up distancing ourselves,
right, from
the very things that we need to get our needs met, from the loved ones that we have in our life. Like, if we build these walls of, opinion so strongly, like, we end up
and that is
isolating.
We do, and the isolation is our quickest response. Is like, we step back and we start to go, no, I'm just going to pull back. I'm hurt by this. And we isolate ourselves when in reality, it's an opinion.
Right.
And by isolating ourselves, we fuel the fire, because then if I'm isolated, who am I with? Myself. Up here, with the person that knows how to beat myself up the most. And we know we have to stop retreating in that venue. So, well, I think there's a few more comments on there. It's hard for me to read. My eyes are...
I got it. Is it fake vulnerability because we're half hidden behind a screen?
It can be. That's a great point.
She's talking about when we comment on social media stuff and be pretty aggressive that way.
It is more powerful to have a face-to-face, and it is, a challenge. And I think a lot of people are afraid to be open and afraid to make that opinion. Yeah.
By the way, in case you're wondering, World Series wins. Red Sox 9, Yankees 27. Apparently somebody checked the facts.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Don't do that.
Well, we are getting close to being out of time.
If there's anything else here.
We'll make sure we address all your comments as best we can. We thank you all. We're checking all the different feeds. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Yeah. Please share, like, and share our videos. And you can follow us on our YouTube channel. Please do that as well.
I'm working on it.
Kate's loading them all up. But again, thank you all for being a part of this and chiming in. And your comments have been amazing. We are really grateful. Make sure that you're aware of all the upcoming events. We've got seminar. We got level 1 this weekend. Super excited for that. We've got Kate's running the Empowering Women group. Super excited about that.
On the 27th of April. Still time to get your seat in that one. It's going to be really cool.
And in I'm looking at about 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to be having a free ebook, 10-page ebook book on how to empowering women to use their voice.
Yes.
And I'm excited to get that released. We're in final editing process, so my grammar needs help.
We'll keep you tuned.
So thank you all for tuning in. You're amazing, and we will see you all next week on
Monday Night Live.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.